Hi, my name is ColdBeer, and let's start with S.T.A.L.K.E.R 2. Here you'll dive into the zone, a specific place around the area where Chornobyl power plant exploded one beautiful day. You probably saw the HBO series already that was filmed in my hometown of Vilnius, Lithuania. If not, do it. Jared Harris and Stellan Skarsgård were wonderful, and the series will perfectly immerse you into a cruel and deadly Soviet bureaucracy. Anyway, the zone around the power plant is deadly as well, and only the madman could go there and search for artifacts from another dimension in hopes of getting rich. You are that madman. Everyone calls you a stalker, but you are not alone. The whole community of people like you are scavenging these forsaken lands. Some are friendly, some are not. That's why you have an arsenal of various weapons. Also, I don't know if it's just me, but my advice would be shoot first, apologize later. You have no friends there. The scariest thing, of course, are not other scavengers, militia of every sort, or even anomalies, but creepy mutants. Oh man, I played the original games when I was a teenager, and I was a bit traumatized by some of them, especially by that invisible shithead in the sewers. And he's back again. A bit too often, to be honest. After you kill it for like the 5th time, it's not scary anymore. But there are scarier things lurking in the depths of abandoned military facilities, and they will gladly meet you and eat you, or worse. Anyway, in a broader sense, S.T.A.L.K.E.R 2 is not a horror game, but it often has strong horror episodes and a menacing atmosphere as well. Not as menacing as your ex-mother-in-law, but still really terrifying. And also, it is a beautiful game, and the visuals are fantastic. Dishonored: Death of the Outsider. Here you are, a supernatural assassin with one important mission. You have to kill a godlike figure called the Outsider. As you can imagine, killing someone who is actually godlike is not an easy job, even for a supernatural assassin. You'll have to journey deep into the underbelly of the city, where you will unravel some of the lost secrets. Along the way, you will infiltrate underground fight clubs and black magic cults, and then retrieve... Yeah, the rest of the game's description is plain spoilers on Steam, avoid reading it. Anyway, as you hunt down the Outsider, you will face off against a new cast of enemies along the way. Armed with your weapons, gadgets and abilities, you will have to take down deadly foes by accepting contracts to find and eliminate optional targets throughout your mission. So you are an actual hitman here, well, hitwoman more accurately, and the game has a very positive review score on Steam, so it's obviously not a bad game. X4 Foundations. This is a space sandbox game where thousands of ships and stations trade, mine and produce. In this universe, you can grow from being the lone pilot of a fighter ship to managing a vast empire, commanding your fleets and designing colossal space stations. The game is single player, so all this goodness is entirely your adventure. You'll encounter first-person action, boarding ships and visiting their bridges, and will have to put your filthy fingers on expansive strategy and management simulation. Here you will choose your own path at your own pace. You can start your journey from a number of different beginnings, and there's a number of different characters, each with their own role, set of relationships and different ships and technologies. No matter how you start, you are always free to develop in any other direction, although people are complaining about unskippable dialogues and bad controls. Marvel's Midnight Suns. Here you'll become the Hunter, the first fully customizable original hero in the Marvel universe. You can personalize your appearance, choose your reactions to situations, and build friendships with other Marvel characters spanning the Avengers, X-Men, Runaways, and so on. Like in many similar games, you will decide who to take with you on missions, which missions to embark on, and a host of other options to make this a unique experience. The game is made by the creators of the legendary XCOM series, so there is no surprise that the game has a very positive review score on Steam and is appreciated by Marvel fans and by turn-based lovers as well. For example, I liked superhero movies, but when they started to make like 7 of them every year, I stopped watching, and I have no idea who half of these superheroes in this game are. L.A. Noire. This is a violent crime thriller that blends action with true detective work. You will search for clues, chase down suspects and interrogate witnesses as you struggle to find the truth in a city where everyone has something to hide. And when you try to unearth the sinister secrets, there is a huge chance that someone will try to silence you for good. During Hollywood's golden age, you play as LAPD detective thrown headfirst into a city drowning in its own success. Corruption is rampant, the drug trade is exploding, and murder rates are at an all-time high. yokai. So in your fight to climb the ranks and do what's right, you must unravel the truth behind a string of arson attacks, racketeering conspiracies and brutal murders. People on Steam are saying that civilian casualties are just a part of the job, and the game itself is like a noir GTA 5. SOULCALIBUR 6. A fighter game where you can control Geralt the Witcher should definitely catch your attention. If you like to beat your friends, it's a bad habit, you should stop. Better beat them in this game, which has very positive reviews on Steam, so expect to have a great time together. For example, some guy said that SOULCALIBUR 6 is everything he wanted Tekken 7 to be, so here you will get a full assortment of single-player modes and all new battle mechanics. But beware, according to one Steam user, there is no voice chat on multiplayer, so the game is just not the same without all that toxic rage, but nevertheless, just pick Geralt and kick some ass in silence. Tannenberg. The game brings the massive battles of the Eastern Front and the First World War to life, with 64 players fighting for control of key sectors of the battlefield, each one offering a distinct strategic advantage. Here you'll find authentic atmosphere with accuracy in everything, from maps and weaponry to uniforms. The game has great tactical squad-based FPS, players Romanian, Latvian, Austro-Hungarian, German or Bulgarian. But I have to warn you that if you don't have 64 friends, just forget about those 64 player battles. The last update was a year ago and there's like 30 people online averagely at all time. Still, the price is nice and so is the game. Still Wakes the Deep. Here you are an offshore oil rig worker, fighting for your life through a vicious storm, perilous surroundings and the dark, freezing North Sea waters. As if that weren't enough, all lines of communication have been severed. And even that is not everything that went wrong. All exits are gone and something just crawled aboard from the depths. Otherworldly cosmic horror now roams the rig, and you have to navigate this collapsing structure with hopes of saving your crew from a fate worse than death. So basically you will have to escape the place and avoid, distract and sneak around in best attempts to survive. This is an incredibly immersive Lovecraftian story that puts you in the seat of the protagonist. Be sure your mental balls are heavy, hairy and made of something hard to crack. This game is not a walk in the park, that's for sure. Palworld. The game has hundreds of thousands of reviews on Steam and the score is above 90%, which makes this game a true masterpiece. Yeah, we all know that this is a Pokemon game without Pokemons, but that changes nothing. Palworld will enchant you with a massive open world where you can peacefully live alongside mysterious creatures known as pals, or risk your life to drive off a ruthless poaching syndicate. Pals can be used to fight, or they can be made to work on farms or factories. So you're tiny slaves. What a nice concept, but wait. It gets worse. You can obviously sell them or even eat them. And the game calls this peaceful co-living. Well, who am I to judge? Anyway, Palworld is not just an easy walk in the park, it's a survival game as well. So in a harsh environment where food is scarce and vicious poachers roam, danger awaits you around every corner. To survive you have to be careful and make difficult choices. You know, you have to eat your pals if things go south a bit too far. So use your pals as you want. Farm, build factories, or commit crimes and become a mighty slaver. In online co-op mode, up to 4 players can play together, and additionally a dedicated server can allow up to 32 players in one game. That's how you make friends, if you don't have any. Instruments of Destruction. Do you have an urge to destroy, to ruin cities and flatten the terrain in the moment of rage? Nobody is stopping you. You can go and destroy anything you want. Or you can go and play this game instead. Or after. You know, when you destroy everything, this game will offer you more. So here you will become a vehicle test pilot and journey across the world to remote outposts where everything needs to be, you know, destroyed. For that noble goal, you will be using purpose-built wrecking machines such as flying bulldozers, tanks wielding quad rocket launchers, and ornithopters with grappling hooks. This game is not only about destruction, it is about building as well. You will learn how to design your own machines for the ultimate demolition experience. Simply use the editor to construct devastating vehicles armed with chainsaws, lasers, claws, wrecking balls, magnets, vortex generators, and much more. Beyond vehicles, here you can design your own custom maps and structures and share it all with the world via Steam Workshop. The game has a very positive review score and can soothe your urge to destroy. Postal, Brain Damaged. In this boomer shooter spin-off of the Postal franchise, things are about to get weird. Everything happens in your brain, and that brain is not a healthy one by any means. Overwhelmingly positive reviews left by thousands of players say to us that the idea and the execution here is flawless. In-game you will encounter fast and challenging enemies and diverse environments. Also, you will enjoy crude humor, nicely presented gore and fantasy violence. Anyway, people on Steam are saying that this is a great game with fantastic art and super entertaining gameplay, absolute gem and a must-play. Ryse, Son of Rome. Another game with a ridiculous price tag. Ryse looks like God of War, Shadow of War and Assassin's Creed smashed together, and that is never a bad thing. Here you'll take on a role of a Roman soldier who joins the army to avenge the slaying of your family and then become a hero who must fight to save the Roman Empire itself. Well, we all know that the Roman Empire is no more, so spoilers, you failed, but in the end it doesn't really matter what you did or didn't. All it matters that you had fun by killing hundreds of enemies and did that in satisfying manner. People on Steam are talking that Ryse, Son of Rome is really nice. The game is short, sweet and enjoyable. A very positive review score left by tens of thousands of buyers can confirm that with ease. Civilization 6. If you want to keep your virginity strong, this game is one of the best ways to never lose it. Although Civilization games are definitely not for everyone, the sheer amount of mechanics can be really overwhelming for a new player, and not everyone likes to read a lot and enjoy changing numbers and colors on the map. To be fair, for everyone who never played Civilization, the game looks like a simple, boring board game, but the trick is that this simplicity is just a tip of a dick. It's way more complex than it seems. Basically, here you can become ruler of the world by establishing and leading a best civilization from the Stone Age to the Information Age. And of course, I'm talking about the mightiest country in the world, Potato Saladistan. BioShock Remastered. This is an immersive sim shooter loaded with powerful weapons and interesting tactics. You'll have a complete arsenal at your disposal, from simple revolvers to grenade launchers and chemical throwers, but you will also be forced to genetically modify your DNA to create an even more deadly weapon, which is you. So there is only a small chance that you have never heard about the game, but I can assure you that BioShock is one of the best first-person shooter games ever created. And this remastered version includes some additional content, 65 Steam achievements, full controller support, modern textures, and of course 4K support as well. Second part is also discounted, but if you never played BioShock, start with the first part. The game is story-rich and it would be a shame to skip a huge part of it. Across the Obelisk. A turn-based dungeon crawler roguelike RPG and a member of the deck-building family. You can play it alone or in 4-player co-op mode and prove that your party is led by a tactical genius. And it's you are a very smart and beautiful person. Now, subscribe, this praise isn't free. Anyway, the game is an owner of very positive reviews on Steam, so if a deck-building aspect doesn't scare you, it's a no-brainer. Especially if you have a friend with whom or from whom you can conquer these lands. You'll find more than 500 different cards and a procedural generated system that makes this game highly replayable. People on Steam are saying that this is a very fun game, although it might get boring after a while, so better snatch it on a sale. Tales of Iron 2 – Whiskers of Winter. An old and unspeakable evil stirs in the north, wings black as death, fangs sharp as steel, and a thirst for blood rivaled only by their insatiable hunger for vengeance. Yeah, that is a new ultimate enemy of your kingdom. As people say, this game is inspired by Game of Thrones, The Elden Ring, and The Witcher. Despite it being a 2D side-scroller, the feeling is actually there, especially because everything is narrated by Doug Cockle, legendary actor that lent his voice to Geralt of Rivia himself, so he will have to track down and defeat legendary monsters of this realm, and be rewarded with rare resources and craft devastating equipment. But be warned, these colossal creatures won't go down without a fight. You will die over and over and over again, so make sure you like suffering. It's not for people with weak nerves, that's for sure. Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy. In this third-person action-adventure game you will play as Star-Lord, and thanks to your bold yet questionable leadership you have persuaded an oddball crew of unlikely heroes to join you. Some jerk, surely not you, has set off a chain of catastrophic events, and only you can hold the unpredictable Guardians together long enough to fight off total interplanetary meltdown. For this you will have to use element blasters, tag-team beatdowns, jet boot-powered dropkicks, even put pineapple into potato salad. Nothing is off limits. Well, I'm kidding. thing, the last thing surely is. That is a jail time guaranteed, and if you think it's all going to plan, you will be in for a world of surprises, with the consequences of your actions guaranteed to keep the Guardians on their toes. The game is one of the most beloved Marvel Universe games, with positive reviews hovering way above 90%. Killing Floor 2. You will descend into continental Europe, where the outbreak caused by a failed experiment has quickly spread and gained unstoppable momentum, essentially paralyzing the European Union. Well, that sucks, I live here. The monster clones are everywhere and civilization is in disarray. Communications have failed, governments have collapsed, and military forces have been systematically eradicated. The people of Europe know survival and self-preservation too well, and lucky survivors have gone into hiding. Well, all except you and your friends. You kill the monster scum and make Europe great again. You'll find a bunch of playable characters in online co-op mode, or solo mode if you are willing to brave the horrific mutants alone. Also, the game has cool versus survival game mode, a 12-player PvP match where two teams take turns playing humans versus monsters. The game has around 90% of positive reviews, so it's probably the shooter you were looking for. The Beast Inside. Here you'll play as a CIA employee, Adam, who leaves a huge city and moves to the countryside with his wife. All you need is to work in peace and silence on some secret military code that could change the outcome of the Cold War, so the countryside looks like a perfect choice. And as it turns out, absolutely unexpectedly, this area is quite opposite of a peaceful place. The game is basically a walking simulator, but in most dangerous situations you will be able to use your gun and shoot your way out. That is the worst part psychologically. You know, when you are in an ominous environment and suddenly the game gives you a gun. You don't feel safer somehow, quite the opposite. The price is great, so if you like spooky walking sims, it's a must-get, I think. Blasphemous 2. Awakened in a strange new land and displaced from your final resting place, you thrust back into the endless cycle of life, death and resurrection. There is no other option than to explore this perilous new world and uncover its long-forgotten secrets. There is nothing game-changing or very innovative in the second part of the Blasphemous, but you know the rule, if it's not broken, don't fix it. Your journey starts anew in a series of enchantingly grotesque landscapes, oozing gothic charm and littered with unforgiving traps. How you tackle the labyrinthian world remains at your discretion. There is no wrong turn to be made, only scores to settle. Taking down your enemies won't be easy, but the game is offering more chances to customize and improve your skill set, along with several new unique weapons to wield, so victory might just be within your grasp, but probably not.
And now thank you for watching, have a nice day, and I'll see you next time. Bye.